Yeah, I think it's important to be educated, though.
Yeah.
Where you get it and how much money you're paying for it is kind of like, I don't know.
I think the process of going to school shows that you can complete something, like that's important.
100%. But then like there's people like me who have like completed a lot of stuff and are very successful in a lot of things that I've done. But like I'll go apply for something after having so much experience. And it's like
they'll want you to have a random 4-year degree.
Yeah. It's like I need a bachelor's. And it's like I can run around all these people who have bachelor's.
Well, you could just lie. What's up, friends? Welcome back to the Number 2 Podcast. I'm Glenn.
I'm Simi.
And this episode is going to be glittery. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the struggle, but in a positive way. I don't know. We want to kind of share, or I want to share some life advice, maybe. Like I know a thing or two, but also just, like everybody's going through it. We're always going through it. So it's good to have, some perspective.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to talk about. And we're going to lead with the perfect topic, which is the cost of stuff.
Oh, gosh.
Which is something you and I talk about constantly, because you basically go buy something and the first thing you do is you compare it to the last time you bought it, which is crazy because that's what people have been doing since the cost of a gallon of gas is no longer 25 cents. It's like we're all still mentally comparing prices from 30 years ago when that's just not how things are priced now. It's like income is different, cost is different, the world works differently.
Yeah.
And we're all expecting the price to go down, and the price is not going to go down. So how do we as a society move forward and stop complaining and start accepting we live in greedy capitalism? And that just is what it is. You got to pivot.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to pivot. It's that what do you call it? It's
a fact of life.
It's like a book. Well, that one book, it was just like
I will teach you to be rich.
Something
the laws of
law of attraction. We do that all the time. Like if we see something, you're like, oh, that's $50, and then I go, that's it.
That's it.
And it's like telling your brain like, oh, that's cheap, but like really, it's like not. But then you kind of have to have like the law of attraction and.
I dare you to do this with your partner when you're in the store, when they complain, or your mom will lose her mind. They'll say, oh, such and such is so expensive. And then you just wait a second, count to 3, and then go,
that's it?
That's it? That's it? $25 for a Big Mac and a small fry? That's it?
Oh my God, that's it?
That's it? It's genius.
But yeah, I feel like it is how it is now when our parents or even our grandparents, they would always be like, oh, like, it's so expensive because X, Y, and Z. I feel like that's us right now. We're like, oh, that's expensive because X, Y, Z. But like these kids are growing up and they're like, that's normal prices for them.
Normal prices. Well, there used to be a time where everything was like in my brain, everything was compared to like tourism prices. Do you remember? It was like you would finally as a family go somewhere. So it's like a ski resort or a Disney park or a theme park, and you'd be like, this is outrageous, $12 for a yogurt. But then you'd go to your grocery store at home and it would be a normal price.
I mean,
and
don't get us wrong, like it is inflated. Like we don't want to
the price is insane.
Yeah, it pretty much is inflated. And just like getting a job right now is like insane. And then when you do get a job or you're trying to get a job, asking for that rate that you think you should be getting, at least now for the cost of living, is like astronomical, because they're just like, oh, we're gonna pay you like $50,000 a year to do this like hard ass job, when you're like, actually those are the old prices, remember?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild, the delusion, because it would be one thing if our generation was asking, say you're asking $60,000 more than what is fair. Yeah, they're going to say no. But our generation is just asking for, like, we just want to be able to pay our general bills. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. Like, we literally just want to break even.
And it's not like a lack of trying or working or anything like that, It really is like hard out here for everyone.
For everybody.
And I've talked to many people and it's just like, bruh.
Yeah, people be struggling.
Yeah.
So we're bringing the struggle advice to the number 2 podcast. You're welcome. So if you guys have a struggle, put it in the comments below and we will probably not solve it for you, but maybe we can help bring some perspective, some humor, maybe a little light to the situation. We're not a cult.
I mean,
but
we're not going to get like very political either, but it's also certain, laws and things that kind of go into effect.
Yeah.
I mean, in California, especially, like, again, we're not going to go there because it's not that type of podcast, but like the robberies, like you go to any type of like, I don't know, like strip mall or like 3rd Street Promenade or anywhere, all the stores are closed. You hear about SF and SF Union with the Union Square. All those stores are gone now. My brother used to work there. And they're all closing down, and it's like,
well, and the companies are fine. They're just doing it because
for sure, 100%. But I mean, there's other factors I think that go into it that, kind of suck. And I think that's why you need to vote. But
please vote.
It's important.
It's important. Doesn't matter who you, what
side you're on.
How do I put this?
If you're a Jedi or
what side you wake up in the morning to hate, which just to be clear, we don't hate anybody. Live your life.
I hate a lot of people, actually.
No. Love and understanding, acceptance.
Oh, yes. That is important. But I hate everybody.
But yeah, times are hard, so you're not alone. You may be alone because you're probably listening to this. Like, nobody watches a YouTube video together. So you are physically alone, but you're not alone because there's somebody somewhere that's going through a similar experience.
Somewhere out there.
Oh, Fifal. You could just go west. We're as far west as we can go without living on a houseboat. Are people still living on houseboats?
I would love to live on a houseboat.
Really?
I don't know.
How is there electricity on a houseboat? You just run the generator the whole time?
That's a good question.
Batteries.
That's really none of your business.
That's really none of your business. It is none of my business. Oh, the struggle. The other thing we're going to talk about on these episodes is it's our goal to break the matrix. We said that to your dad, and he said, what did he say? It was so funny.
I don't remember.
This like old Samoan man. He's the funniest person on earth. And he goes, I remember those movies. But I don't think he understood what we were saying.
Yeah.
But then he did. And then he gave us like the wisest advice. It was so funny. But this podcast is also for people who are trying to break the matrix. So if you have any tips on how to get out, we're trying.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because like when you work for corporate America, I've had this experience, it's easy to do the most amount of output and so much work. And then at the end of the day, you
get burned a lot.
You're susceptible to like getting let go or laid off, especially with the economy, how it is right now. So it's like, there's no real like safety nets, So I think like, in order to break the matrix, you kind of have to start your own thing. As if you have the resources and if you, have the tenacity to do so, I think it's important to try to break out of the matrix and learn, hard things, because you can do hard things. And I don't know, try to pursue something that's like greater than yourself.
Yeah.
How about you?
You have to try. I've always tried to break the matrix, so I always end up back in it.
Investing too is super important. And there's like,
who knew you're supposed to be investing? Nobody told me.
Financial literacy, if I could speak, if I'm illiterate.
I'm illiterate, but I'm financially in the literati, the licorishati.
But yeah, financial literacy is super important. And invest. I think you can learn about it. Like, I mean, we have the internet. There's Google, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but like, I know a little bit about investing.
Thank God for the internet.
Oh my God, thank God.
I was thinking about that last night. We were watching a show.
Do you even need school anymore?
Because we were watching a TV show, and it's like, if you want to know about somebody, you just look it up, and you're just like, so-and-so that was on Survivor this season. And then it's like, you have their Instagram, you have their photos, you know who they're married to, if they have kids, what brand deals they have, where they live. But like, think about it. Like back in the day, you're just sitting in your living room like a dum-dum,
Yeah.
just accepting whatever came through the television.
Like, I never graduated like the commercial type of like college. You know, I went to like some other vocational type of school, and some of these college graduates, it's like, were you even educated?
I mean, I don't know. We're not coming from a place of judgment.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that like, do you really need like this type of like schooling? And should schooling be like, I don't know. I feel like there's like hoops and all these things to go to these like top schools,
Yeah.
which is like okay. Um but for what sometimes? Because people like I know a lot of people who have gone to school for like 4 years, paid like thousands and thousands of dollars to go to these schools
Yeah.
and come out not knowing too much or did a major that like I don't know either you're not really going to go into that major or it's
Yeah.
a hard major to and so then they go to like I don't know being a waitress or something
Yeah.
and you have this like
They have
degree
no
but like you
choice.
can't do nothing with it or the economy's bad, you know what I'm saying, and you did all that for what, you know?
Well, I mean, that's one way of viewing it. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's important to be educated though.
Yeah.
Where you get it and how much money you're paying for it is kind of like, I don't know.
I think the process of going to school shows that you can complete something, like that's important.
100%. But then like there's people like me who have like completed a lot of stuff and are very successful in a lot of things that I've done, but like I'll go apply for something after having so much experience and it's like
They'll want you to have a random 4-year degree.
yeah, it's like I need a bachelor's and it's like I can run around all these people who have bachelors.
Well, you could just lie because well, I mean, I'm not joking because I have a degree. I mean, I have it.
Yeah,
I paid for it. Like, my parents paid for it, but I went to the stupid classes and learned, and I'm proud of it, whatever. But no one has ever once asked me to like see the paper.
Oh, that was me with high school.
Yeah.
So I didn't have
They
my
don't care.
diploma for like the longest time because I think I had like an outstanding book that I didn't pay for.
It's always the librarians.
And I just never like got it just because I don't know, being lazy. But I think it was, I don't know. I was like, I think in my 30s when I actually needed it for something. I forget what it was, but I was like, wow, no one's ever really asked me for that. And all the countless jobs that I had, like,
so that's the other thing. I mean, the other thing with schools and like private schools
they just trusted me, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's networking. Nepotism and networking are really like what run business. Right place, right time. Some luck, but it's if you go to a school with a bunch of other people that could afford to go to that school, you're in these circles.
Yeah.
You marry somebody that knows somebody that got a job that did something that forwarded something. Like it's not a fair system, and nobody ever said it was a fair system. Like everybody is in on that, but
I think the internet and just kind of what I think it really kind of evens the playing field a little bit, even though yes, those old tropes are kind of still in place.
For sure.
But I think
it made the evil more evil, and it made the people that didn't have the tools have a tool. So like it did do something, like, and is doing something.
Yeah, for sure.
It democratized information, which is like what America does, and like that's amazing. Like
true, and not saying that it isn't a problem anymore, even though we do have the internet, because it is like
it's a huge problem.
And that's like a whole different subject. But I don't know. I think we live in a world right now that's great, to where we have the internet, we have tools, and
if you want to know, you can know.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's any less hard.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's easier. Yeah.
True.
I agree. Yeah, it's a struggle. Everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
But that's what builds character. That's what teaches you life lessons. Like, I think it's so important.
Yeah.
And like I always say this, so just full transparency, we're trying to launch some businesses and to move our lives forward, make petty cash. We've actually done it before multiple times and made money and then shut it down. And we've done a lot of things. We're
entrepreneurs.
I wouldn't ever describe us as entrepreneurs. I would say we are creatives who need to pay our bills, like, and don't fit into a neurotypical corporate system. Like, even though we would like to, like, I'm willing to accept the paycheck and the benefits.
I see myself as an entrepreneur.
You do?
Well, I mean, it is very creative what I do
Yeah.
half the time, but like, yeah, for sure. I mean, because I'm always wanting to learn. I'm always wanting to, you know, figure out like the best ways of doing things and financially like be more literate with
Yeah.
anything, and then um, also being organized in that way to be able to get things done. So I would think I do consider myself
See, I
a
always feel
bit of an
like the
entrepreneur.
word entrepreneur is charged. It's like it feels very like corporate and dry to me. Like it feels like it's like you're have no choice or you're trying to like screw customers over and you're like opening up a lemonade stand and you're selling lemonade, but you're this time you're going to dye it blue and you're like, you're like a snake oil salesman or whatever, versus like what we try to do is we're passionate. It's like we take our passion, what we would buy, we really try and like elevate it,
Yeah,
and provide a good or a service or value to the customer. Like we ain't trying to rip people off.
I think at the end of the day, we're just trying to break the matrix.
We trying to break the matrix. That being said, hopefully you guys are trying to break the matrix too. My stomach is making noises. My stomach's about to break the matrix. It's all that chicken, the lemon chicken.
All you have to do to break the matrix is audition for American Idol.
You just have to go in a time machine, go back in time and audition before Kelly Clarkson, right before.
You can't audition right before her.
Or right after.
It was the first season.
Yeah, but she wasn't the first to audition. She just won.
Well, doesn't matter.
I don't even think she needed the show. Anyway, this is a different topic. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Number 2 podcast. We hope you had a good time. We drop episodes twice a week. Do not forget to subscribe. With that being said, this episode is sponsored in part by SDM Productions. If you're looking to launch a podcast, a creative campaign, or elevate anything, or need editing services, click the link below. They're super easy to work with. They know all the platforms. They can make a TikTok convert like crazy. What else can they do?
They could make you famous.
They can make you a superhero.
They can break the matrix.
Bum, bum, bum. You heard it here first.
Also, this show is brought to you by Kirby's Cosmetics, coming out very, very soon.
This is a before.
We don't wear makeup.
This is a before.
Or do we?
I don't wear makeup.
It hasn't launched yet. It will be launching very soon. So sign up below. Be the first to be on the list to get your Kirby Cosmetics. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. We're super into supporting people trying to break the matrix. So if there's something we should know about, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. Maybe we can partner. But check out Kirby Cosmetics. SDM Prod did the visual campaign, and it is incredible.
Yay!
We'll catch you next time on the Number 2 podcast. Bye.
Bye.